Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is October the 13th, 2019. Strong hand. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. Offended by selling. Unconfiscatable. Conviction. Be a unique beast like this shirt. Relentless. Relentless. You know there's going to be a new show every day because I've got the conviction. I'm relentless. Hello, my elite friends. Look at this new Crypto Verge shirt. Yeah, another one. Link to below. Get them. Pound that like button. All right, watch Saturday's show. Beyond Bitcoin show was pretty cool yesterday. Watch the whole thing. And Friday's Beyond this. Well, yesterday was Beyond Bitcoin show. Today's the One Bitcoin show. Friday, this week in Bitcoin show, Gabriel Devine was quite a wild guest. Hey, Q&A today. I guess I have some time for. If you type in Bitcoin Meister into the chat, I will hopefully be able to answer your questions. But there's some topics we got to discuss here. Reminder. I'll be spending a big hunk of December and January in Tucson, Arizona, if you want to hang there. And link to below, Sydney, Australia. I'm going to be next week, starting the 17th. All the events I'm going to be at, they are linked to below. You can email me at adam@tresorhelp.com if you're in Australia. You want to see me, or it's linked to below. I'll be tweeting stuff out. Follow me on Twitter at TechBalt, TechBalt, TechBalt. If you're watching this tape, play to 2x. It'll save you some time. You'll be able to understand me. So, Noted podcast. It's amazing. They had a congressman on their Bitcoin podcast. And imagine, as late as 2017, could you imagine a congressperson appearing just on a Bitcoin podcast? That's how much we've progressed since then. And you can just imagine how much we will progress since 2021 in 2 more years to get to 2021. It's a reality now. Warren Davidson he's a congressman. He's the one who said S-coin. He discussed the relative liquidity of, they're talking about weapons, I guess, why Facebook should adopt Bitcoin instead of Libra coin, and the popularity of fiscal acceleration on Capitol Hill. You know what? I don't care what he discussed. I'm not putting him on a pedestal. And his opinion is as good as anybody else's, but a podcast was able to get a congressman. A congressman doesn't appear on just any show. He appears on shows where he thinks his constituents are going to be listening, where he thinks it's going to benefit him in a way. So Bitcoin has gotten to that point where he's clearly made Bitcoin a part of who he is politically and feels it is helpful to appear on a Bitcoin podcast. So that's where we are here in 2019. We've hit that point. And 2017, that was pretty much unimaginable for 2017, at least. Had you asked a long-term thinker, they might have said, well, by 2019, perhaps it will happen. It has happened. So pound that like button, be a long-term thinker, and imagine what we're going to see in 2021. And it'll be way more, I think, meaningful than just some congressman appearing on a podcast. But I mean, I can't predict it. I'm just excited for the future. I can't predict specific things for specific dates, and that's why I'm a long-term holder. I just know eventually this thing, it's already so big, Bitcoin, compared to what it was when I got in 2013. So many of you got in like after 2017, and you don't remember the days when no one knew what the heck a Bitcoin was, that mainstream media didn't list its price. I mean, things that are commonplace now were dreamed for back in 2013, 14, 15, and 16. Now, so let's talk about Ethereum 2.0 here. Now, do I really care that much about Ethereum 2.0? No, it's not Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin. But my Lord, there are a lot of Bitcoiners who like to rip on it. Oh, it's going to bring down Ethereum. It's the end of Ethereum. They can't pull it off. Well, I'm a contrarian when it comes to, some of the public Bitcoin figures that are speaking about Ethereum 2.0. I think Ethereum 2.0 will be successful. It's centralized. They'll be able to pull it off. They will be able to switch to proof of stake. And first of all, if you want to know what Ethereum 2.0 is, I have a link below, Ethereum 2.0 explained. I mean, basically, they're revamping the whole thing. They're going proof of work to proof of stake. That's the biggest thing right there, which is tremendous. It's a tremendous endeavor. It shows it's centralized, et cetera, et cetera. Now, it's no threat to Bitcoin at all. And so this article that I linked to below, the reason I'm even bringing all of this up is that everyone is excited by the prospects of Ethereum 2.0, but the transition towards this new chain will prove complicated. It seems very likely that both Ethereum 1.0 and Ethereum 2.0 will be trading simultaneously and exist as separate tokens for a time. So Ethereum 2.0 is a crypto dividend of Ethereum 1.0. If you're an Ethereum holder, you're going to end up with 2 coins. Someone's going to continue the Ethereum 1.0 chain, just like somebody continued the Ethereum Classic chain. We're going to live through something like that again. And guess what? Both Ethereum Classic and Ethereum, they gained value. People bought it. Am I saying to buy it? Heck no, I'm not saying to buy it at all. But 80%ers are going to do what they're going to do. This thing is going to be good for Ethereum. They're going to be 2 different Ethereums. And if you count Ethereum Classic, they're going to be 3 different Ethereums. Then the more the merrier, whatever. Bitcoin is still the next Bitcoin. Ethereum 2.0 is not the next Bitcoin, but there are a lot of people that are going to think it is. They're going to pump up the price of Ethereum. There's still going to be an Ethereum 1.02 surviving for a certain amount of time that you'll be able to sell on certain exchanges. Exchanges will have to send out press releases saying they're going to continue both. I mean, we've been through it before. We'll be through it again, and it will bring interest into the space from people that think, well, this Ethereum 2.0, this is the next hottest thing. A 2.0, we've never had a crypto 2.0, and we really haven't yet. We've had forks, crypto dividends, airdrops, et cetera, but no one's gone straight up. And I mean, this is like a corporation releasing a product. It's very much, they call it a 2.0. Windows 2.0, Windows, it's Windows. What's that Windows at 10? But you get my point. It's like a software release. That's how centralized it is. And yeah, so and that, again, that's the reason I don't like all these altcoins, because they are centralized to a certain degree. But people from the outside, big money people, they will pour back into Ethereum because of this Ethereum 2.0. But not only that, they will pour into cryptocurrency. It will be a positive event for cryptocurrency, and thus a positive event for Bitcoin. This might pump the price of Bitcoin too. So I have a very positive framing of this in my mind. I'm always quite positive, but I'm not of the belief that you have to destroy other altcoins. You have to destroy altcoins, and Ethereum is the next Ethereum. It is the number 1 altcoin out there. It is the number 2 cryptocurrency on the planet. It's going to stay that way. And if you want to be a hater, you're wasting your time. If you're a Bitcoin person, you should just be thinking of the positives, like, oh, how can this help Bitcoin? Or let me just ignore it and be happy that I hold Bitcoin, that I have a Bitcoin strong hand, because you value your wealth in Bitcoin. You do not value your wealth in Ethereum. It's something that pumps, and it's something that goes back down also. And it is not supposed to be Bitcoin. It is not supposed to be a store of value. They have unlimited amounts of it they can make. Maybe they'll limit it one day. I don't know. I don't care. Don't worry about it. And don't freak out when you hear all these people talking about Ethereum 2.0, because I think it will be good for Bitcoin. And Roman Q said it is now less than 80 days until the year of the halving. Wow. Measure your time in halvings. Pound that like button. You're exactly right. Measure your time in halvings. We're getting close to May of 2020. I can't believe that there are only 80 days left in this decade. What a decade it has been. There have been highs, there have been lows, there have been sad points, there have been happy points. For me, there's been many more happy points. I hope that's how all your decade should be. And you can make it that way. You just got to stay a positive person. And this decade isn't even the golden age yet. 2020's the golden age. We're not even there yet. And this has been a rocking decade. So just think about what the 2020s will bring. Dude, I am looking forward to this next decade. and just living the good life. All right. Chunk and Dunk says Bitcoin Meister. Exactly. Good vibes. Well, first of all, Chunk a Dunk, you were in the right place because, dude, I am reading your comment from yesterday's video very soon. Everybody get ready for that. He had a very positive comment that I want to share with all of you. Okay. Let me see if there are any other comments. You guys can do the super chat also, et cetera, et cetera. Just retweet the show. I am TechBalt. That's the best way to support the show. I'm not even going to read what they got. All right, so continuing. We talked about Ethereum. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it can't hurt Bitcoin. That's another thing. If you really want to take a measured approach at looking at this, well, maybe it won't be good for Bitcoin. It can't hurt Bitcoin, so don't worry about it. All right, CoinDesk says, what's CoinDesk? Zcash will get a gateway into Ethereum DeFi ecosystem. Hey, it's one of my predictions coming true about coins either combining or partnering up. Some altcoins are going to eventually, some are going to completely combine. But this partnering up of altcoins, Zcash and Ethereum, we've heard about Ethereum wanting to partner up with Bcash. That's their prerogative. That's their thing. That's something that I thought would happen. And that is something that's very creative, I think. And just something that centralized cryptocurrencies can do. They could say, hey, my boss says, Charlie says the partner with Vitalik. Okay, yeah, great. Or King of the Trolls says the partner with Vitalik. Or what's the Zcash guy name? Zorro, is that his name? I forgot what his name is. Says the partner. That's going to happen, but it's going to get some of these smaller ones are just going to combine. And that will pump them. Maybe some of the Bitcoin crypto dividends will combine one day. I don't know. B Gold and B Diamond will be Diamond and Gold or Diamond and Silk. Pound that like button. Another thing I wanted, it's reminds me of the days of the final days of Bud Selig, who was the commissioner of baseball, the worst one in the history of baseball. And he, at one point, Major League Baseball was expanding, but then they talked about contraction. They wanted the A's to combine with the Twins or get rid of the Devil Rays. Who even knows what it was now? But they never had the baseball contraction, and now they want to expand again. But this is, you go through cycles, and now so altcoin contraction. Maybe we're at that point of the game now. It's something to look at. There'll be altcoin expansion also. Altcoin expansion, also going contraction. You could deal with that soap opera, or you can have a strong hand and just hold the Bitcoin and watch it as an entertaining show. And it is innovative to have altcoin contraction. I think it is. I think it's innovation. So see how it goes. It's a free market. Let them do what they're going to do. And the block crypto. Oh, this is a lovely. In a statement to the block, the IRS said that starting today, it will be accepting comments by email for a 30-day period regarding the addition and I list the email address below, okay? What they're talking about is the IRS will ask taxpayers if they own cryptocurrencies in the new 1040 tax form. And again, this is only a draft and they want opinions of it, but it looked to me, it looks like a way for the IRS to get people to just put themselves on lists for future audits. Okay, it's the first question on this Schedule 1. Is that what this thing is called? I linked to it below. So, at any time during 2019, did you receive, sell, send, exchange, or otherwise acquire any financial interest in any virtual currency? Yes or no? Again, this is the first question on this proposed draft of the 1040 schedule. And then none of the other questions beneath that have anything to do with cryptocurrency. Not at all. So it just seems like they're setting you up to be on a list, to be looked at in the future. That they're not exactly sure what this virtual currency stuff is yet, but they want to put you on a list. They want you to admit that you dealt with it in some way in 2019. And That's a pretty broad. Now, I don't know if this is, you can email them and say, hey, this is ludicrous. Don't do this. And again, that email address is listed below. I'm not going to read it because it's a messy one. But we shall see. I would like to hear what other people's opinions are. Jeff Vandrew is going to be on someone's show to talk about it soon. But that you sent cryptocurrency, the freaking IRS needs to know if you sent cryptocurrency. This is ludicrous, absolutely ridiculous on their part. So that's my feedback to them. Any idea who will be the focus of your next Bitcoin focus show? Says Roman Q. Yes, I do. It'll probably be Ran of Ran Noor. Is that how you say his name? In South Africa, the CNBC South Africa guy. And the reason is I want to give a focus to the 80%er side of cryptocurrency, just to see that a lot of people like what that guy has to say. And he has been on my show before. And that'll probably debut when I'm traveling from Baltimore to Australia on Wednesday and Thursday. So there's a little preview. Good question there. I do want to say, I didn't know if I skipped that yet, because we're going to talk about something similar to that. Well, now that we're talking about government, we're just talking about the IRS there. The following makes me side with Facebook even more when it comes to Libra. And this is a tweet that says, wow, this letter from a U.S. senator to the CEO of Stripe includes a direct threat. If you take this on, you can expect a high level of scrutiny from regulators, not only on Libra-related payment activities, but on all payment activities. That is from Brian Schatz of Hawaii and Sherrod Brown of Ohio. They're both Democrats, and they are threatening Stripe. If you have anything to do with Libra, we're going to give you a hard time. That's what it says. I mean, it's like a mafia. It's unbelievable. But hey, they're putting it out there. So, and it also is a reminder of compliance versus defiance, that with altcoins, with centralized coins, they can demand compliance. They cannot demand compliance for Bitcoin. They can't send a letter like that to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is defiance. Still, it sickens me that Brian Schatz and Sherrod Brown send out something so disgusting, and that it makes me support Facebook even more. And I hope they get Libra. And someone in the thread said, well, they just want a bigger campaign contributions from Facebook. Maybe that is it. I don't know. But I do hope that Libra does it. Compete, don't complain, baby. And I don't care if Libra's competing with Bitcoin, because it's going to bring more people in the Bitcoin, and it's not real competition. It's centralized. It's completely different. It's like PayPal. But these threats. I mean, these are elected officials. They're supposed to be public servants. What a country that we become, where this is taken as normal, that they're allowed to be threatening companies. The government's not supposed to get involved with the private industry. They don't. Could Brian Schatz and Sherrod Brown run their own business? No. And so to tell one of the greatest businessmen on the planet what to do, to threaten him is ridiculous. And he's threatening Stripe for dealing with one of the greatest businessmen, dealing with Facebook. All right. And Alistair Milne puts it in perspective. He says, I don't care much for Libra, but the pressure being brought to bear onto these companies involved, causing them to withdraw from the project, should refocus everyone on the importance of genuine decentralization required for Bitcoin to survive and succeed. And so on the This Week in Bitcoin show, I read the comments, of course, and Gabriel was beautiful, and people had some great comments about Gabriel. Or maybe because Gabriel was on the show, we had someone very interesting watching the show, apparently. And I'm going to talk about this more tomorrow, or maybe on a show that'll debut when I'm traveling. But King of the Trolls left a comment on the video. I'll leave it at that for now. You can read it. I will expand upon what King of the Trolls had to say on a future video, because he thought he was ripping on me in the comment. But when in fact, He was complimenting me. I have not changed my ways at all. He was trying to put pressure on me to change my ways. And I am not. I am proud of you check it out yourself. That's another reason to watch Friday's This Week in Bitcoin show, to check out the comments, and one left by King of the Trolls. But I will elaborate on that on a future show coming up soon, hopefully. But yes, all sorts of people watch this chat. All sorts of people. I don't know why he was watching that specific show. Don't know. I know in the past he has watched shows, and that was one of the reasons I got him on a show a long time ago. I know better not to get him on any show in the future. He's had his chance, and he uses all shows for infomercials as for Bcash. And this is not a Bcash infomercial here. He had his chance. You can go to the archives and see when he was on my show. It's there. It's staying up there. And he made a clip from that show. So now let's move, and which is great. I don't care if he takes my material, makes a clip out of it. It's fine. So here's a reminder of how early things are. Last week, I was talking to a person about Bitcoin as a store of value. This was the first time he heard that you can buy Satoshis instead of a full Bitcoin. Stack Sats needs to be mainstream in more than just Bitcoin groups. Yeah, it freaking amazes me that people still don't know you can get a fraction of a Bitcoin. And that just shows you how early this is. And probably some of you are like, Adam, that is so boring. Of course, everyone knows that. Nope. No, they do not. No, they do not. They think they get unit bias. They're like, one Bitcoin is $8,000, so I'm going to get Ethereum Classic for $5 or whatever it is. And just we got to spread the word, I guess, one person at a time. We got all sorts of people talking in the chat right now. No questions though. I saw someone bring up hair metal. I don't know. People 80s references going on here. What's on this shirt? This is funny. It's joking about the fake Satoshi Nakamoto. This is Dorian Nakamoto. Yeah, I don't care who Satoshi Nakamoto is. We know who it's not. Oh, and for those people who think that it's some dude, oh my God, the Jim Jones cult, unbelievable. Jim Jones cult of cryptocurrency that people believe. But this is 10% of the population are very willing to join cults. Pound that like button. Unfortunate for them, but hey, we learned something by living in this cryptocurrency ecosystem, this Bitcoin ecosystem, in this free market, when people are just allowed to just show who they really are. You really get a deeper understanding of how people think. And wow, some people got some wacky ways of thinking. But hey, this is where the big boys play. If you want to believe that and spend your money on that, yeah, you'll learn the hard way. So I referenced before the great Chunk a Dunk. And I'm going to read you his comment in whole, because I thought it was one of the best comments left on a video and lately. And I appreciate good comments. I reply to good ones, and I heart them or whatever. And trolls can leave comments too, but you know what? Trolls may have noticed I don't reply to their comments at all. That's part of the whole thing. But when a troll leaves a comment, it actually helps the video. And when they downvote, it helps the video too. But this was a good one. Great video as always. My main takeaway is that everyone wants to steal what you have rather than work hard or do it themselves. This is a constant issue in the business, entertainment, and media world right now. Yeah, it's envy. Envy is huge in this world today. It fuels so much of what we see out there. And hey, I say, compete, don't complain, create. But yeah, most people want to be envious. That's the 80% rate. This takeover attitude, and I referenced what was that when I was talking about takeover? This is a comment on Saturday's show. Eric Weinstein one says we have to take back the institutions like Harvard. And I say, no, create your own institution. Harvard can be social justice warrior as they want to be. And you could be bitter about that you're a genius and they don't like you anymore. Or you create your own entity, which Eric Weinstein is actually doing. But he says we have to go back and take them over. No, this takeover attitude, and that's the takeover attitude. I say just make your own attitude. This takeover attitude also runs pretty deep within the Bitcoin Twitter sphere. I agree. I follow quite a few Bitcoin maximalists, and some of them describe themselves as such. And they take things way too far sometimes. There is no reason for Bitcoin to overtake and destroy the banking system. There doesn't have to be an end-all be-all. Yes, an end-all be-all. That's ridiculous. They're acting just like the Feds pushing fiat onto people. Let's let the market decide. Bitcoin has the best argument so far, and there's no need to push it down people's throats to intimidate or put fear into them to do so. Basically, cause FOMO. I'm glad you are very level-headed and approach people with a realist point of view, Adam. No fear, no doom or gloom, just facts. Exactly, dude. There's nothing to fear. So what if the fiat system continues? So what if they're banks? The banks don't have to disappear. People like banks. Let the banks do what they're going to do. Let them keep on printing money. You go to what you think is right. If Bitcoin is doing the right thing, then you're in Bitcoin. Tell people about Bitcoin. Tell them why it's better. And if they don't think it is, oh well, then they're stuck in fiat. I think both can survive side by side. Both are surviving side by side. One doesn't have to destroy the other. They should, and the fiat system, they shouldn't worry about Bitcoin either. If their fiat system is so great, then leave Bitcoin alone. And again, it's the government that is, they are trying to attack various parts of the cryptocurrency ecosystem. We've just been talking about Facebook. Compete, don't complain, people. Whether you're in Bitcoin, whether you're in altcoins, whether you're in fiat. So I mean, and on the altcoin side of things, if your altcoin is so great, then talk about how great it is, and then see if people buy it. But to try to destroy, to rip on Bitcoin, to bring down Bitcoin, it doesn't add much to your argument, really. It doesn't. You could do it though. It's a free world. I wouldn't invite. I think it's a waste of your time. If you've got the next Bitcoin, then throw it out there, baby. Then put it out there. But for Bitcoiners, don't worry about the fiat system. Don't worry about the altcoins. If someone lies about Bitcoin, then clarify the lie. If someone says, well, my altcoin is Bitcoin, they say, no, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. That's a crypto dividend. I got it for free, and I enjoy getting crypto dividends for free. And you put a positive spin on the whole thing. All right, dudes. Rumor control real quick. Casa hold. People have been saying stuff about Casa, the Casa node, and they sent this out. There are no known undisclosed security vulnerabilities with Casa node at this time. That said, you should always be careful with Lightning, which is still early and reckless. More details on security concerns raised this weekend here. So if you guys are concerned about that, I don't have a Casa node, so this is just something I hear about, and people were telling me that something bad happened. Well, they have their explanation. Go check it out. I'll save that for later. And finally, we will leave it on a very no, there are two things left. The White Rabbit BTC has a Bitcoin Hall of Shame tweets thread. All these people bragging about since 2013, different times, like, oh, I just sold my Bitcoin for $200. I did so well. Oh, I just sold my Bitcoin. They're pretty funny. It's a Hall of Shame. It's a weak hand Hall of Shame, basically. Have a strong hand, people. Don't be those dudes. Learn from that. Learn and see that when you think you've reached a high point in Bitcoin and you're selling and you're going into fiat and you're valuing your wealth in fiat, you end up regretting it. Look at that thread. Very good. And now this is final. Steve Barber, my buddy up in Alberta, where it must be horribly cold right now. And I guess happy Thanksgiving to people in I just remember tomorrow's Canadian Thanksgiving. Am I correct? An American knows that. Did I get that one right? Have a good Thanksgiving, Canadians. So this one's for you. How many Bitcoin can this 22-liter, 400-kilowatt beast mine? Should we find out? So Steve Barber, he creates machines that you put at where they're mining oil and the gas is coming out, drilling for oil, and natural gas is coming out as waste. he turns that natural gas with this machine into Bitcoin. It mines Bitcoin with the excess natural gas. And for all those climate change people who think the world is ending and that we need to cut down on industry and have the government step in and solve this problem, this is a dude right there. This is the free market making money off of something that's supposedly going to destroy the environment. And so less of this destructive element is going out into the environment. This is what the free market does. You can combine Bitcoin and climate change here and come up with good things. And if you believe in climate change, and save the world, if you believe that the whole world's going to end in 12 years, Steve Barber is an innovator that is in motion. He's trying to make money, and he's solving problems, and that making money encourages people to solve problems, figuring out how to monetize problems, to monetize fixing problems, and that will make the world a cleaner place. And we don't need the government to make horrible rules that are going to cut down on industry and where people will starve from, if some of these things that people are proposing, African countries, people will die if they cut down on industry and they're not allowed to use fossil fuels. We'll come up with solutions. I know this golden age is upon us. I know what the free market can bring. And I know that government intervention stifles the free market and will slow things down. And we don't even have to go into, what the world, if it's really going to end in, the world is not going to end in 12 years. Again, that is hysteria. You can have hysteria, or you can be in motion and be productive. You can be envious, or you can compete. Pound that like button. I think you've learned that's been the overall theme of the show and the channel lately. So pound that like button. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the links below. Bang that bell button. I'm seeing if there are any other questions. Remember, new show every single day. There's the shirt again. And yeah, check out yesterday's Beyond Bitcoin show and the This Week in Bitcoin show from Friday. Spread the word on Twitter. Bye-bye. See ya. Click on the squares.